Something I decided to do over the summer actually is to just take the GameCube version of the Wind Waker and do some practice runs of certain glitches on that game, because it's actually been a while since I've played it and I'm not too familiar with everything that you can do on that game, glitch-wise. Before I move on to that though, I did want to point out very quick here, something unique I'm about to do with King Zora, starting right now. You are going to talk to him as normal, but during the conversation you're going to want to hold the R button, or whatever button you use for shield. Well, come to think of it, that's the only button for the N64 game. And I just got the frog eyeball ingredient for the tears that Biggoron needs in the trade quest. That is not normal, and you are on a timer. You get 3 minutes to take it to Lake Hylia Laboratory immediately. You pretty much just have to fly to get there. And I used my other bottle of red ice to open up the Zora shop, because by doing this glitch that I just showed right there, I did miss out on getting the Zora tunic, so at some point I may or may not come back here to purchase the Zora tunic. It does cost 300 rupees, however, so that's why I wasn't able to get it right away. Otherwise I would have just bought it in a heartbeat while I was standing right there. But alas, I didn't have enough gold sculptulas to get the Giant's Wallet reward. However, as I mentioned, the frog eyeballs ingredient is not normal when you talk to King Zora. And another thing I want to add, this will not work on any newer editions of the game, starting with version 1.2 for the N64, which was primarily the player's choice versions of the game. This glitch is not possible. It will not work if you hold R. It has been confirmed that you can only do it on versions 1.0 and 1.1, which apparently, or I mean obviously, the Japanese version is that. Now then, because of that, it also will not work on the GameCube versions or the VC version, and it also does not work on the 3DS version, to my knowledge. I'm very positive it does not work, actually. So, if you don't have any of those versions, you're kind of out of luck, and this glitch is going to be pointless to you, unless you happen to somehow obtain an earlier version, like I have. I'm sure there are still eBay sellers out there who sell this version of the game. If you're willing to give a little money, it's not like expensive, but even the American version's a little bit more than what it used to be. I'm noticing now it's like in the $20 to $30 range on average. This game used to be like $10 easy on eBay, and now it's kind of doubled and almost even tripled over the years for an average seller, especially if you want one that's in like decent condition, because almost anymore you're not going to get the case or the manual with the game. It's pretty rare to find a good deal on that anymore. But anyway, back to the glitch. All you have to do, it was similar to the gold scale glitch that I did at the fishing pond. As I said, as you're talking to King Zora, at some point you just have to hold R until the conversation ends and you're automatically given the item. Now, also one other condition, I really should have mentioned this right away, but I will go ahead and say it right now. The glitch will also not work if you have nothing, and I don't know how I got spun around right there, but the glitch will not work if you do not have any item in the slot for the adult trade side quest. So basically on the pause menu, that's why I had went back and got the pocket cuckoo egg from Anju at Kakariko Village. Basically, that's where the trade quest begins, and that was the easiest way for me to get the item in that slot. If you somehow glitch a different item into that particular item slot, that's fine. It still works. It just cannot be a blank spot. And I did not cut any of this out. I know it's like a 7-minute journey, basically, because 3 minutes to get to Lake Hylia, and now you have 4 minutes to get to Biggoron himself. I'm leaving all of this in because I want to give evidence that it is legit, and I didn't do any other additional tricks to make it look like I'm being deceptive about this glitch. So that's why I'm not like cutting ahead to Biggoron or anything like that. It's perfectly fine if you want to skip ahead though, that's up to you, but you do miss out on some pretty good tips that I'm giving you. It's up to you though. I will let that for you to decide. And there is a useful way, whenever you get to Death Mountain Trail, there is a very useful way for getting up the mountain. Unfortunately, one thing I do miss out on is I never planted the bean sprouts as Child Link, so I do have to take the normal way, which takes about roughly 15 to 20 seconds longer. That's a rough estimate. If you go the normal way as opposed to the flying leaf way after planting the magic beans. Nothing big, though. It's still possible without it, as I'll be able to prove. But anyway, I'll go ahead and reiterate really quick. This glitch will not work on anything past version 1.0 or 1.1. If you have anything beyond that, this glitch does not work. And you also need some kind of item. It can be anything. It can be the hookshot. If you somehow glitched it to that spot, it could be an empty bottle. Or it could be anything from the regular adult side quest, which is what I did. I just grabbed the pocket cuckoo egg, because that was honestly the easiest way for me to perform the glitch. And that is why I showed that clip in the earlier section of this recording of me talking to Angie, because I wanted to establish that, yes, you do need to talk to her if you want to be able to do this glitch. It's the most basic way of doing it anyway. Otherwise, if you talk to King Zora, you just get the Zora tunic as normal. Because, like I said, whenever you normally talk to King Zora, you're given the Zora tunic. If you're holding R, and it's version 1.0 or 1.1, you're given the frog eyeballs ingredient. I think that's what the item's called. You see, it looks like a frog, but basically it's like frog eyeballs. That's pretty much what the actual ingredient is for the drops. Don't ask questions, that's what the game decided to have as a surprise for you. And King Zora just so happens to have the ingredient. Now, by doing what I just did, I pretty much skipped 80% of the trade side quest. Because normally what you're supposed to do is you talk to Angie first to get the pocket cuckoo egg, and then you let it hatch. Coincidentally, a chicken just crowed right now. Oh, real quick, you can use the Megaton Hammer to pretty much annihilate all the enemies here. You can even flip the Tektite, which is pretty awesome. But basically, you don't have to hit it on the wall, you just have to hit it on the ground, and I did unfortunately get recoiled, so I was like, crap, I have to climb the wall again. And I hit it again because I couldn't tell if I got all the Skulltulas or not, but I did. I was just making sure, but I love how I still flipped the Tektite all over again. That was pretty awesome. But anyway, I believe that is everything I could think of. Like I said, you pretty much skip a whole bunch of steps with the trade side quests. You skip the whole section that involves the carpenter and his son. You don't have to worry about the old lady at the Kakariko potion shop. All that jazz. And yes, somehow using eye drops echoes across the whole mountain. It is Biggoron for you. But anyway, I think what I was mentioning about at the beginning of the video, the recording's almost over here. I've only got, I think, 2 minutes maybe left of scenes before it's over, so I'll go ahead and say what I have to say quick. And yes, I do use the Sun Song. You have to wait 3 days till he actually gives you the sword. He gives you like a redemption certificate, like a slab stone. But I do cut out me playing the Sun Song multiple times so that you don't have to sit through that. But you do have to go through 3 full days. Also equal to 6 Sun Songs being played. But here we got the Biggoron Sword. Pretty awesome. Does twice as much damage as the Master Sword, and a power crouch stab is quite lethal with the Biggoron Sword. I will go ahead and say that. Anyway, with the Wind Waker HD version coming out, as I had mentioned before, I'm curious to see what glitches do get fixed in that game. So I was pretty much going to go back to the GameCube version and probably play it sometime here over the summer, just to get some practice. The only main glitches I'm aware of, that I'm familiar with, is the infamous Elixir Soup cloning glitch, I guess you could say. It's not just the Elixir Soup, it's actually any bottled item, but it's most commonly used for the Elixir Soup, which is why it has that name. And I'm aware of dry storage, which has definitely some good uses. I only say some, though, because for the most part, the majority of glitches in the Wind Waker are actually pretty useless. Like, they're kinda shallow, actually. And the other thing I'm aware of is the ledge clipping glitch. That's actually one of the easier glitches to do. and it has some uses too. And then there's also bomb boosting. No bomb hovering on the game though. There is zombie hovering, however, but from my past experiences, it is absolutely atrocious. Hovering glitches in general, for some reason, are just not my forte. I suck at those so much. But I'm just willing to see, you know, what they do fix here in the Wind Waker HD, or change. Anyway, this is getting close to the end of the video, so I'm going to stop the recording here. I will be back with live commentary. Unpause and think fast. Yay! We got that stupid Gwei that hovers around this laboratory. Hello everyone, this is ToadinWonderland, and I'm finally back with live commentary. I don't know if I mentioned this in the last video or not, but we are going to enter the water temple without the use of Iron Boots. It is possible through this fun little glitch. That is why I'm at the laboratory. So, what you're going to do is come to the lab where the creepy scientist hangs out at for Lake Hylia. Position it so that you're at the corner, and unfortunately the Gwei came back. You don't want the Gwei to interfere with this, so you do want to kill it if it comes flying around you. And hopefully I can position this right. But anyway, get yourself partway in so that Link's head kind of like jets into the building at the corner. And once you get in far enough, there we go, that's a good spot. Zoom in to first person perspective, and you're going to hold Z so that you're looking at the doorway, and as soon as you get out of first person perspective, do a jump attack. And by doing so, you will have glitched right through the building and fallen into a secret world that is right underneath Lake Hylia. And that is why you're swimming on a surface. Now, you're going to want to use the map, like the regular map that shows up at the bottom right corner where the yellow arrow is. Basically, that helps you line up so that you can find your position to get to where the entrance to the water temple is. And the camera does get funky here. As you get close to the surface though, it'll zoom in like this, so that'll kind of help you out. You don't want to surface above the ground, because as soon as you get above the texture, bam, you're right back on to the main area. But basically, you're going to just swim over to the entrance. There's no diving required. You don't need the gold scale or anything like that. You just hit the loading zone, and voila, you are inside the water temple. That was pretty simple. That is definitely an easy glitch to do. I would definitely suggest doing it if you can, if it's something fun you want to try out anyway. I mean, you don't have to play the game like I do, but glitches are fun. I encourage it in your free time if you have any. Anyway, I'm going to use Ferori's Wind here. It's definitely going to be used a lot in this temple. I wouldn't be using it so much, but I'm terrible at one of the glitches that lets you kind of glitch out of the loading zones for the textures of this dungeon. So that is why I'm going to use Ferori's Wind a lot, because there's actually a way you can get back up to the main entrance without Ferori's Wind, but like I said, I am terrible at that glitch. I don't know, I guess I'll be using the Biggoron Sword a good bit since I have it. And as you see, since I don't have the Zora Tunic, this is going to be a timed challenge for me, because I will be navigating the whole temple without the use of the water Zora Tunic. And hello, Ruto, with disturbingly visible parts. And 4 eyes. I never understood, like, what's on her head, like, on the sides. They look like eyes, I assume? And if they're ears, they're the weirdest looking ears I think I've ever seen in my life. They definitely look like eyes, though. And I have to look at them close enough. I can't tell if they're blinking or not. They don't appear to be blinking, but it's still creepy as anything. And that text dialogue actually went very fast because this is Japanese version, so it flies pretty quickly. I'm happy about that. Okay, we're going to take the Iron Boots off, go up to the surface, and Rudo kind of just disappears into oblivion. We never see her again till after we're done in the temple. I'll be trying another glitch right here, actually. This is probably one of the only glitches I think I'll ever be able to successfully show for the temple, because, in all honesty, I've been abhorred at every possible turn. Not even just in the water temple, but trying to do dungeon skipping. Let me start with the water temple, though. I'll get into that as soon as I do this glitch here. So I'm gonna get into the corner. Okay, and I have the hook shot out, that's good. Okay, as soon as I get in the corner, I'm gonna do a backflip. And I want to get the hook shot out. And I'm gonna do a side hop so that I fall down into the pit. Okay, and I want to kind of like pause buffer because I need to get a perfect position here so that I can do this glitch. Basically what I'm doing is called pause buffering, meaning that I'm going through every frame so that I can position Link exactly where I need him. And I'm actually one frame exact from where I need to be. Hopefully I can get this right. This is actually really good timing. Okay, I'm right at it. As soon as I unpause, I need to like push B repeatedly. Here we go. And I did not do that glitch. I will be right back, guys. Okay, I'm back. I'm using Ferroy's Wind yet again. Unfortunately, I screwed myself out of that glitch, and I've already saved the game. So I'm actually going to save again, so I don't do any more stupid mistakes. What I was trying to do was basically do a jump attack so that I could land on the ledge without the use of having to come back after I've raised the water up to a certain point. But because I screwed up the timing, unfortunately, I cannot glitch up to that ledge. Let me see if I can step back. Up right there. I was trying to do a jump attack so that I would land on that platform. And basically, I would get a small key way earlier than what I could normally do. But I'm going to have to wait until I raise the water now because I did not do that correctly. So, you're stuck with me going through the temple normally. How about that? Okay, to get back to what I was starting to say about earlier, basically, this temple is kind of difficult to do glitches in without the hover boots, because almost every skip you can do in this place requires either bomb hovering or the use of the hover boots. And naturally, the only way you could possibly have gotten the hover boots is if you've done dungeon skipping. Which, as I mentioned maybe in the last video, I don't remember if I did or not, but if I didn't, I'll talk a little bit about it real quick. In addition to being abhorred with this temple with glitches, I have been discouraged from going into pretty much any temple prior to the order that I've been doing it. The only possible skip I could have done is if I'd done the Fire Temple and then the Forest Temple. That is very possible. But unfortunately, that did not work out. Well, actually, no. I take that back. That could have worked out, but I decided not to do that because it was a bit cliched. The main dungeon skips I would have preferred to do is if I could have gotten into the Shadow Temple maybe first. And the reason I have not been able to get into it is because, if you haven't guessed it by now, you need bomb hovering. And you can technically do it as Young Link or Adult Link. It does not matter which form you do it as. Both Links can bomb hover into the entrance and can explore the temple. It doesn't matter which person you use. And as weird as it sounds, it is possible for Young Link to complete the Shadow Temple. Now, unlike Phantom Ganon, I don't think the game will freeze if you beat Bongo Bongo with Young Link. I could be mistaken by this, but from what I'm aware of, that strange oddity with Phantom Ganon only happens if Young Link defeats Phantom Ganon. But if Bongo Bongo is beaten with Young Link, the same problem does not occur. The game seems to have no issue with Young Link going into the Shadow Temple. But, like I said, you have to at least get into the temple first before you can even do them out of order. And for me, that was not possible because I am terrible at bomb hovering. So I sadly have to admit that dungeon skipping is out of my league, pretty much. And I fell off of that ledge. I was trying to get on the snake, but I think I could still get up there, so this is not an issue, actually. Oh, good. Okay, now that I've taken care of all that, the Water Temple is pretty much straightforward with what I'll be doing, since I could not properly show off the one glitch. with getting the small key early. Basically, it just would have saved, like, maybe 3 minutes of time, around something like that, if I could have gotten that key much sooner, but alas, I suck. I apologize, but it was basically one chance. If I would have saved as soon as I walked into the temple, I could have restarted and maybe tried again, but since that didn't work out for me, there's nothing I can do about it now. Okay. With that said, hover boots are needed. Basically, the main glitches with the hover boots involved, there's a few bomb hovering tricks where if you're wearing the hover boots and you do bomb hovering, it propels you even farther away than what a normal bomb hover does, and you're able to reach faraway platforms that you can't normally access. You can open doors without raising the water levels to where a block creates a platform for you. And I love having the Biggoron sword. Fun fact. The water temple, I don't mind. Like, this is the temple that is regarded as the most hated of not just this game, but in the Zelda series as a whole. But in all honesty, this probably has one of the more intricate designs. Personally, I do not like the, I forgot I should have used Ferori's Wind. I am not thinking today. My head is not on my shoulders, people. I am sorry. I should have done this as soon as I got the small key. I'm wasting time. But anyway, yeah, real good that I'm trying to prove a point and I can't even do things right and prove my point. Anyway, the water temple. The reason people hate it so much is because you have to keep going back and forth between different rooms so that you can get keys and more keys. That's pretty much what you have to do. Now, the order that I'm doing it makes it so that you can actually skip one key. This is not technically a sequence break, this is just a method, I guess you could say. This was unintended by the developers, I believe, because for all the dungeons, they pretty much intend for you to get all of the small keys. But I won't be needing one of them because I'm not doing a path that requires me to raise the water level multiple times, and I do have Ferori's Wind to thank for that. That is why I've been doing it as soon as I entered the temple, and do it right at the beginning. Now, I am going to have to raise the water here, because there is one small key I would like to get underneath. And since the water has been raised one level, I can go back to that room where I tried to glitch getting another key earlier, but failed. So, because I failed, I am going to have to go back to that room. But yeah, people, like I said, just don't like this temple because of the fact that you have to navigate so many rooms, and it is a bit of a maze, I will admit, because there are some sections where a few rooms may look like the same thing, and similar features just appear basically identical. Like, some of the rooms look identical to other rooms, and the other thing is the pause and on-pause of Iron Boots, regular boots, Iron Boots, regular boots, Iron Boots, regular boots. The developers did admit, as like an apology to gamers, that they wish when they originally made it, that they could have fixed that problem. They did take care of this in the 3DS version. And the Wind Waker also has it as a equipable item now as well, so that you can easily put them on and take them off whenever you desire. On this game, since this is the original N64 version, and if I can take care of these enemies correctly, because I don't have much time, I don't really care for the clam enemies, I will admit, because you have like 1 second timing to unleash the hookshot to defeat them. It can be awful. Okay, there, I got them. And for my case, it's even more awful because I have a timer. Lovely. Okay, I'll be getting a key, and then I've got to remember to use Ferori's Wind immediately, so that I can get back up to where I was intending to go. Okay, we got that taken care of. Let's go ahead and whip out Ferori's Wind again. If I can get to it on the screens correctly. And I guess the other thing to talk about, there is actually one thing coming up. I may be able to still show one glitch inside this place. Oh, let's use Ferrari's Wind yet again. But yeah, I'm sorry to disappoint anyone, but I really can't glitch this place. Not unless I could somehow perfect my bomb hovering skills, which isn't happening instantaneously, like in a day. I just can't. I've done it, tried to do it before, but I just cannot seem to do bomb hovering properly on this game. As I said, I've kind of given up hope that I'll ever be able to bomb hover properly on Ocarina of Time. Now, Majora's Mask, it is easier to bomb hover. I don't understand why, except for my previous explanation in the video when I talked about it, that the blast radius for the bombs is different on that game, unlike Ocarina of Time. And that may have an effect on why bomb hovering can be done easier on there. Okay, blow up the opening here and get our next small key, and I can use Ferrari's Wind immediately so that I can get the heck out of here and just go on to where the mini-boss is.